Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
My daughter Rebekah got married a few years ago. The process of meeting and getting to know our new son-in-law took months, but we were confident that he loved her and would take good care of her. The Rebekah in the Bible, however, had a very different love story. A stranger showed up at the well, and thus her story began. The stranger, Eliezer, servant of the long-lost relative Abraham, presented his story to the men of the family. He claimed God had chosen her to become the wife of Abraham's only son, Isaac. He gave her golden bracelets and rings and kept praising God. He ended his plea to the family with, "Now if you deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me that I may turn to the right hand or to the left." Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, "The thing comes from the Lord. We cannot speak to you either good or bad. Here is Rebekah before you. Take her and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as the Lord has spoken." What did Eliezer do in response? Again, he immediately bowed down and worshipped God, who had once again proven himself faithful. Eliezer unpacked his 10 camels and gave Rebekah and her family gifts, and they had a big party. But the next morning, Eliezer repacked the camels and was ready to go. Rebekah's family objected. "You can't just walk in here, tell a story, and leave with Rebekah. You've got to give us time with her to say goodbye and give her a party and prepare for her wedding." They knew once she left, they'd likely never see her again. But Eliezer had a one-track mind. He was there on a mission. "No, God made my trip successful, and now it's time to go." Then they did something that seems highly unusual for their ancient culture, where women were treated like possessions. They gave Rebekah a choice. Think about what you might have chosen as a young teen. She could stay with her family in a safe place where she knew she would be loved and cared for, or step out in faith with this stranger, marry a man she'd never met, and become part of God's promises. In verse 58, they called Rebekah and said to her, "Will you go with this man?" And she said, "I will go." When has God given you a choice? Stay in your comfort zone and be safe, or step out in faith with Him and participate in His kingdom? He gives us that choice pretty frequently. Should I start a spiritual conversation or keep quiet and make small talk because it's more comfortable? Should I stay in my predictable, safe job or follow God's call to quit and start a new ministry? Should I make some cookies and visit a new neighbor or veg on the couch? God is always calling us to go and do, but He gives us a choice. Rebekah chose wisely and became part of God's chosen people. Her family sent her away with a blessing, and she began a long trip to her new home. Can you imagine her excitement when she saw Isaac, found out that he was her intended, and modestly veiled herself? And look at what she got for her obedience. Verse 67 said, Isaac loved her, which wasn't always a given in the culture of arranged marriages. When we step out in faith, God takes care of us. It might not be all diamonds and roses, but God blesses us His way, which is more valuable than diamonds and more beautiful than roses. So don't be afraid to step out into the unknown with God, who is worthy of our trust and praise.
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.